From the studios of TLC Talk Radio, it's TashaTalkz. I'm your girl, Tasha. Don't forget to follow us on our YouTube page at TLC Talk Radio. We have another incredible and engaging and fabulous show on deck for you today. In studio is my friend, Mrs. Yolanda Orangeberry, and she is not new to TashaTalkz. She's been on before. Yolanda, you were here to share more about mental health. You are a licensed professional counselor and the founder of a brand new mentoring group. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you, Tasha. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So talk to us about your organization. I'm going to let you share the name because I think the name itself is impactful. And I think it's important that you introduce it to the listening audience.
All right, cool. My name is Yolanda Orangeberry. I am the owner of Y Orangeberry LLC, where I have a host of boutique of services, from coaching to therapy to consulting. And so this mentoring group, I absolutely was preparing for a keynote speaking engagement, and I was going to be talking about fatherless daughters, and I ended up coming up with this program. I'm so excited. So it's a mentorship program that's from the ages of really 6th grade to 12th grade. So that's about 12 years of age to about 17, 18 years old, to really just hope and empower those who are fatherless daughters.
Yeah. What led to that keynote speaking topic?
I'm still actually preparing for this keynote speaking topic. It's for a TED Talk.
Oh, nice.
Yes, for a TED Talk. And so in this TED Talk, I'm focusing on fatherless daughters, and it has taken its own journey. I mean, it's like, as I prepare for this TED, I'm like indulged in all this information about fatherless daughters, and I'm like healing myself from being a fatherless daughter. So research says that fatherless daughters will be impacted on their psychological development throughout their lifespan. And once I read that, I started thinking like, man, was I impacted? And I really was. And so then I just started going in more detail about how I was impacted. I was impacted that I became a teen parent, my environmental influences, some of my decisions that I made. I really was impacted on my psychological development. And so this mentoring group is going to be called Pushing Past the Limits Fatherless, because they say that we limited in our development due to being fatherless. And so I was like, you know what, let me provide some information, empowerment. I've been in plenty mentor groups when I was younger. It was also for college preparation.
Okay.
College preparation. It was also to be amongst other like-minded young ladies, but mainly was for college prep and the importance of volunteering. I didn't want this mentorship program to be geared towards that. I wanted to be so of healing, empowering the heart as a young person, because we carry that. As a therapist, I'm mirrored servicing women who were fatherless, and now they're having problems in their relationships. They're having problems with establishing trust. And so I felt like, you know what, I'm providing services daily to women who are fatherless and seeing how it's showing up in their lives. We need to meet the young ladies, before they become a woman, try to heal past the hurtness of being fatherless.
Got it. And so those core values, I heard you mention trust. How important is it that girls who are fatherless find someone that they can trust of the male persuasion?
It's important. I just think about my own story. My father showed little to zero interest in my well-being. So when I became a woman, I wasn't really trying to even allow myself to trust. It was more so someone who loved me didn't show any attention towards me. So how I wasn't seeking for love. It was something that I wasn't trusting anybody at this point. And so understanding that trust is very important for establishing healthy relationships. I wasn't able to establish healthy relationships until I realized what my patterns of behaviors were.
And what led on your journey? What led you to do that? I'm going to assume, and we've talked about it just a little bit, that this journey is the reason you ended up even in professional counseling. What led to the transformation that allowed you to begin to see what those patterns were?
Well, I was going to college to become a doctor. I honestly I was going to school to become a doctor, but I became pregnant.
Okay.
I became pregnant at the age of 19, going into my junior year of college, and so that stopped me from going to medical school right then. I can say right then it stopped me, but it was pretty much the once I realized that I was making bad decisions in relationships. I was going from one man to another man, and they had to have some financial gain. If they had no financial gain, they couldn't talk to me. And I was wondering, like, why I'm choosing these type men? Like, what is it about it? And it was because I used to fantasize about the money that my daddy made. And even though my daddy was a very established engineer, but he wouldn't give me his money.
Really?
I wasn't part. He wasn't giving me anything.
I
So
see.
with that being said, I fantasized a lot about what my dad, what my dad looked like and how things looked for him. And some of it was true and some of it wasn't, but it was what I felt and what I thought to kind of block out the lack of him not being there. And so that's when I started understanding, like, okay, I'm choosing wrong people here. I'm choosing wrong people. I'm cycling. That's what I was doing. I was cycling and bad decisions. I was just cycling and just the whole abandonment issue. I remember when I went to counseling to become a counselor, the lady told me I had abandonment issues.
Okay.
And that right there really was kind of like how you see that. And I did not really talk about my dad a lot, but she saw it and she was like, you have abandonment issues, and if you want to move past it and you want to go further in life, you're going to have to really address abandonment. And so I had to address it, and now I'm able to realize that I really had some really bad behaviors from being fatherless.
Sure. Trust, abandonment. What are some other issues that your organization tackles?
So in this program, we're going to be talking about self-awareness. Self-awareness brings on a lot of other things. So it talks about, when I say I had to realize my behavior, self-awareness, I had to become more aware of what my behaviors were. And that was even understanding the grief process of where I thought I was when, not having my father a part of my life. That's a grief. You go through grief.
Sure.
And so just understanding that what part of the grief chart I was in. I was angry for a while. For a long time in my life, I was angry. And so we're going to be talking about self-awareness and break down, what stage of grief are these young ladies in. Really trying to understand and heal past that. And then pretty much understanding the fantasies. Like I said, I fantasized a lot as a young person, lying, talking about what my daddy did, or, like I said, my daddy was very well established being an engineer. But he wasn't giving me his money. He wasn't spending no time with me. So I would fantasize like, oh, my daddy took me shopping or this and that. And so those fantasies was lies that I was looking for in a male, in a partner. And I've learned that that's only because of the barrier that I put in my mindset of not really wanting to go deep in knowing about my dad. So just understanding that, how we live in lives, of fantasies of what we think that life should be like, what we think a man should be, put yourself in, well, it ain't even got to be a man now, just even relationships, period.
Sure.
Understanding what healthy relationships, so all of that comes down to self-awareness. But then also understand the environmental influences, knowing what's influencing your behavior in social media, what's influencing your behaviors. I work in the emergency room. A lot of young people come in trying to kill themselves, do self-harming because they're influenced by social media. And just understanding what's influencing your decisions. We're going to be talking about that, and then we're talking about the game plan. What's the game plan? If you want to go to college, let's see what colleges look good for you. What area of expertise you're trying to, then let's surround you up with other mentors who might be in this particular area of growth. But then ultimately it comes down to you got to have forgiveness in there. You got to work towards forgiveness. Forgiving, of course, it has everything to do with you, right? Of course, you can have that mindset of saying, well, I didn't do anything wrong. No, you did not do anything wrong. But forgiveness allows the freedom to release all that pain. And that's gotta be the goal. You ain't gotta do it in this mentorship program. We're gonna hopefully we'll stack you up with the tools that you need to cope, but the ultimate goal is forgiveness, getting you to that point of forgiveness so you can push past these limits that researchers says that our psychological development is impacted.
Yeah. You mentioned pairing them up with mentors. How do you go about recruiting the mentors in your program?
Well, the first mentor is going to be me. This is the first round is definitely me. I'm mentoring them. It's me mentoring these young ladies. I only have a set number of slots that I'm taking for me, and I'm the one that's going to be mentoring them. Now, when we have our gatherings, our monthly gatherings, I will have other women there who are fatherless, but not so much other women because I want the young ladies to understand. I wanted to feel more so a cohesiveness of a person who really cares about them breaking these limits. So I'm the main mentor now.
I got it. and I get it. And starting out, that's probably the best approach. It makes sense. You're literally speaking from that place of experience and you are where they want to be. I share that a lot in my personal life. If I see something going left, I'm going to talk to the person who is the overcomer already. Yes. Hey, what did you do? How did you? And so the story that you just shared is absolutely integral for them. Excellent. So you're just starting out. What other core values are important? You mentioned self-awareness. You mentioned getting rid of anger, forgiveness. That's huge. Yeah. In your work, do you find that forgiveness is hard for some people?
Forgiveness is very hard, not even just for fatherless daughters. There's the individuals, period, who might have been hurt from someone they love. Forgiving them for not loving you is a very hard thing to do, especially if it's a parent that you didn't even actually be here for. You know, you made me. I'm here because of you.
Right.
And you don't intentionally. I'm talking about fathers who intentionally don't want to have a relationship with their daughters. This is not from a father who passed away. This is not a father who's incarcerated. This is a father who made an informed decision like, I'm not going to do nothing for you. And you see them and they typically don't do anything for you. And that hurts in itself.
Sure.
And so definitely self-awareness, but the main thing here is really trying to get them to a sense of forgiveness. And that is going to be, I'm going to have to pretty much, it's not a counseling group, but I have some strategies in there for counseling as counselors would do, but it's not a counseling group because it's more of an empowerment group. But we will have different things that we will talk about. I have each month, this is a 3-month program. They'll have books that they have to read. I'm really trying to inform and educate these young ladies on how they can move forward and hope to be an everlasting mentor to them.
Excellent. Are there plans, once these ladies have gone through the program, even as young women, to have them maybe come back, not necessarily do the full mentoring, but perhaps speak at your events and things of that nature?
Yes, that's going to be required because we want to continue to help. It's like I want it to be a community of women and young ladies helping each other push past these limits of having the psychological deficit. When I sat down and I read that, and I couldn't even finish my whole TED talk because then I started doing research on certain things, and I'm like, oh my God, that's me. Oh my God, that's me. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's me. Mm-hmm. And then I said, you know what? If that's me all day long, I need to start something. I need to develop a program for young ladies. First, I was going to do it on women.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because this is what I see when I'm doing therapy. The women that I provide therapy for, I'm like, you know what? Let me do a women's group. Then I was like, no, let's tap into the development part when they're developing into a woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key right there. When they're developing into a woman, so they can learn better coping skills on how to deal with hurt, how to deal with rejection, how to deal with abandonment. No, like I said, I was in plenty mentorship programs. None of my programs dealt with me being a fatherless daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was based on academic level. You got, have this to get in here in order to be around this, and but no one was trying to meet my emotional need of me being a fatherless daughter, and how there are nights that I cry because I couldn't, my dad didn't pick me up, or how my dad spent Christmas with the family and told them not to call us and invite us, So no one met that need.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the path you're on will help them better navigate the path, because you've seen it. You've walked there. Literally, they're walking in the path that you forged. And you can say, not that way. Go this way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because if you don't have no one to tap on, tap your shoulder and say, that's that you're making bad decisions now. Why are you making this decision? Then, you think twice. So, you know what? Maybe it's because I'm trying to follow, a girl at the school or whatever it may be. Sure. But when you don't have nobody tapping you on the shoulder to say, don't go that way, it's trial and error.
Right.
It's it's cycling. You start, that behavior is what you put in your pocket and say, okay, I'm going to pull this out every time I'm in this situation. Every time I'm in this situation, you're getting the same result. And it's not healthy. And it can end up in abusive relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a whole lot that comes with that of being a fatherless daughter. And so now it's amazing how this has taken its own way from me preparing for this TED Talk.
Wow. You mentioned that in your work outside of the mentoring group, you deal with a lot of women. Is there a story you shared your own, and it's fascinating. It is absolutely the testimony after the test, right? But is there a story, right, without a lot of pertinent details, that you can share that was impactful, that made you go, yep, that's just like the time when I heard this woman say, or I saw this woman do A, B, C, or D?
Let's see here. I have adolescents, and I have a couple of adolescents on my caseload.
Okay.
I have one who a mother and father currently getting a divorce, and they're separated. And the father took the sons, and the mother has the daughters. And the mother is trying to establish relationship with the father, as far as visits and things like that. And dad doesn't want to have any type of dealings with the daughter. Don't call her for birthday. Didn't even go to graduation. Like, literally don't even want her to have a relationship with him or her brothers.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And so it's rejection, one, from dad, and two, forced rejection, by the brothers, who may or may not feel the same way.
They don't. The brothers don't. But they're in the dad's house, and the dad takes their phones. They can't even call their sister. They can't email. They can do nothing. And so here it is. I'm providing a service to the daughter, and she's like, I'm lonely. My brothers, I miss them. And she has to stay in the house with her mother because the father, part of the divorce decree is that he will father the brothers, the sons, and that the mother will father the daughter. So he separated them by sex, not understanding the impact that it's having on her. So he didn't come to her graduation, and she was very emotional from that. And, being a therapist, I really had to really try to, comfort her with where she was, understanding that, that's messed up that he didn't come. But also, allow her to express her hurtness, right? Because we'd be so quick to say, get over it, go on, he didn't come, okay, oh, well. Right. No, we're going to sit in that for a minute.
You have to.
We're going to
or otherwise you suppress it. And it comes up some other way.
A bad behavior. So let's sit in that. So we sat in that for a while. We did an empty chair. We did a whole lot of her just expressing to me about, what she wanted it to look like for herself. And me really telling her, well, the reality is now it looks different. And so her understanding that this is what it looks like for me. And I'm, hoping that this school year, that we will, because she's still into that rejection kind of thing, still a little sad over it. But she's doing better. She's doing a lot better. She got herself in a whole lot of sports. And I think that is to like cover up. But that's your coping skill to keep it moving. Do it. Whatever you do. Mm-hmm. The summer she was packed up. Mama makes sure she's packed. But emotionally, she still feel kind of hurt and abandoned. So just really trying to navigate that with her as a young lady, and understanding that, hey, you can push past it. You can push past it. You might get into a situation and you see your dad that you might not even have heart, you might not even be hurt anymore. You might, that anger might be somewhere else, and you'll be able to say hi, Dad, without an attitude or and so that's my job as a therapist, to get her to that point. Mm-hmm. Get her there, at least there.
And I'm wondering if it's a conflict of any sort. Will the people, the girls you mentor, will they have been your patients, or can you not do it that way?
I can't do it that way.
That's what I thought. Okay. Mm-hmm. So how will you recruit then the girls for the mentorship?
So right now I'm doing my marketing, marketing strategies right now. So YOBcoaching.com. I have the mentorship program there. Like I said, it's a 3-month program, and this is in phases, right? Because when we can't do everything in 3 months.
Sure.
Of course, so the first 3 phases is on self-awareness. And remember, I said we're going to be talking about grief. We're going to be talking about rejection. We're going to be talking about abandonment and what that looked like. By any means, this is not a therapy session, but this is definitely an informative session to allow you guys the information and know that this is how you feel. This is the reality of how you feel. And let's strategize on how can we move past this to get your grades up, to become a support of your own community. When you want to cry because your daddy didn't pick you up, cry in this group, of women, well, not women, but it's going to be other groups. Other young ladies are definitely going to be confidential. Just really establish some type of community for you, for them. But also, since I am a therapist, I do have therapy skills, but it's not my intention to do therapy. But they will have moments in which that they probably will release like someone in therapy, because like I said, this is really to tap into the cycling of behaviors. Let's talk about why you choose these behaviors. Sure. Why are you doing these things? I'm not trying to do therapy to the point of understanding the trauma that affected them, why, things like that, but understanding that there is a need there to comfort and to empower you to move forward.
Mm-hmm. Yep. How, I know it's just 3 months, and then I'm assuming there will be check-ins. What will those check-ins look like?
So every month, it'll be a weekly program. It'll be a weekly program, 90 minutes on every Monday. We're starting this in October. I wanted to start in September, but there's still some things I have to work out. So it's a weekly virtual group for 90 minutes, and they're going to be held on Mondays. And then we'll have a once a month check-in that we will meet in the community. So this is for young ladies. Even if you're not part of Illinois, it doesn't mean that you can't be part of the mentor group. But if you live in the Illinois area and you live close to the Chicago area, we'll be able to meet monthly to have a check-in, and an in-person check-in, where my goal is to have other fatherless daughter women provide some type of service or educational information, even regarding their career. If someone who's fatherless that's a doctor or someone, to come and inspire these young ladies to continue to strive for their goals. But you have a community of other women, other young ladies who are fatherless, and we all are trying our best to break these limits that was impacted upon us when we became fatherless.
Yeah, definitely. Let's paint a picture. I know about your program. Let's say you're full. I'm an educator, as people know, and I run into a couple girls who maybe I have a great relationship with their parents, and I say, listen, there's this program, but right now there's a waiting list. I want to connect you with YLB, right? Mm-hmm. But until she has the space, how could I, a teacher, a friend, a parent, an auntie, how could I support that young lady not being a therapist and not yet having the availability to join a mentoring group such as yours?
Okay, you can easily always this is going to be rolling, so it's going to be a rolling admission. So each person, like the first group of ladies, they'll be talking about self-awareness, but then the second thing they're going to be talking about environmental influences. So it's always going to be rolling. So it's going to be the next group going to be starting with self-awareness. So it's, each group of girls is going to be in different stages, right? So even though it might be a waiting list, it's going to be a waiting list until the next cohort starts.
Okay, excellent.
But that's how that's designed. But for you as a teacher to support, I think it's just really just tapping in just to ask how a young lady is doing on a daily basis. If this is a student of yours, just to tap into to see how she's doing, to see if that child can have some other type of supports, even with social work support in school setting, until they are able to get, because not everybody, this is the thing, everybody don't, it's just the view of what people think mentorship looks like, what the view of extra support looks like. The parents really got to be a part of that. Some parents don't believe in their child receiving extra support and feel like it's not even necessary because they feel like they might have the ability to do so to keep them moving. This is really just tapping into the things that people don't see and people don't understand, that it impacts your ability. So even though I was a great student, right? I was a great student. No one would have ever known that I was impacted by my daddy not being there, because I got A's, I got B's. So it's really the to the young lady who is doing everything right, but still have the moments of feeling like abandonment and rejection that causes her to make bad decisions,
Sure.
So just tapping into that, just really just trying to see how people are emotionally. Emotionally, it's also a spiritual thing too, a spiritual development too. I don't think that you cannot have that part.
Sure. Understood.
that part is important, and if you got a parent who don't believe in that or feel that, that's not a part, that's not something strong, then you might have difficulty navigating that journey, because honestly, that plays a major support in that journey of being fatherless. You got to have a spiritual practice or something greater, feeling that there's hopes in something greater than what it is now. It has to have a spiritual practice into it.
Gotcha. So let's say I'm not necessarily attached to a young lady, but how could the viewers and listeners just support what it is that you're doing? Donations?
Yes.
I don't know. What can we do?
Yes. So yobcoaching.com is my website. I am going to have a donation button on there. Because I was thinking, like, some parents might not be able to afford this because this is not insurance based. This will be all paid cash, credit card, whatever. But it's not going to be insurance based. It's going to be strictly investing into your child, right? And so donations, I do have Generational Anointing gear, my new clothing gear called Generational Anointing. So if you purchase something from Generational Anointing, the proceeds go towards the mentorship program to establishing more opportunities. I really want this to become very big. I really want it to become conference style in the future, of other women who were fatherless pouring into our young ladies who are going through the journey and trying to lift them up and understand that we are here as a community to support each other. So yobcoaching.com, you can purchase any type of any gear that we have, any t-shirts, any bags that we have for Generational Anointing. You also can sponsor a young lady if you feel that a young lady needs to be sponsored. The program is $599. If you heard it from Tasha, you have 3 months, $300, and a $200 discount. So in the code, you can put in Tasha in the promo code Tasha, and it would be $300 for you. And like I said, this is rolling. So every 3 months we start a new program. But the young ladies who are in the first cohort, they'll just keep going through all the other things until they really complete the program. The program is going to be technically about a year program. And every 3 months we're going to be talking about different things to help empower them to make better decisions and break the cycles that was placed upon us when we became fatherless.
Absolutely. One more time before we go, the name of the organization is?
My organization is Orangeberry LLC. That is my organization. I'm just having the mentor group under my LLC, but my Generation Anointing is the products that all the proceeds go to. Generation Anointing proceeds go to Fatherless Daughters Mentorship.
All right, wonderful. We really, really appreciate you coming in. And one more time, talking about the things that are really important to us, to our culture, to our faith, to our development. That's a word I heard you use a lot during this session. Thank you so much. From the studios of TLC Talk Radio, it's TashaTalkz. This has been my guest, Mrs. Yolanda Orangeberry. I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to come back and tell these success stories, and maybe even, if they're comfortable, bring someone with you to share how what it is that you do has positively impacted their life. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media channels at TashaTalkz, and we will see you next